take all those, and how does a company utilize that or engage with Opma?
Yeah, so it's a great question. So there's, if I think about, let's take the sneaker example. There's essentially like a couple different stakeholders I'm thinking about if I'm going into a supply chain. I'm thinking about the brand, and the brand is going to want to know what raw materials went into that product and where they came from. Whether it's because there's regulations around forced labor, or there's regulations about like the requirements of organic being certified and things like that. All of those sort of attributes upstream need to get collected. The typical way of doing it is you go one up and one down. So I go to my tier one supplier and I say, hey, can you guarantee that what you're selling me is whatever, organic, kosher, da da da, whatever it might be? And then they'll say, yeah, I can do it because I went up to my tier two and I asked them the question. But no one's going all the way back holistically to the supply chain to truly make sure that when you go all the way to the cotton farm, that we're
Mm,
actually getting
yeah.
the cotton from the correct region, that it's from those types of things. And that's the question that ultimately brands are going to have to be able to ask or answer, because whether it's Customs and Border Patrol enforcing it, whether it's regulations in the EU requiring an understanding of where product materials came from, there's going to be just a baseline regulatory requirement for this. But that isn't the reason to do it. The reason to do it is because you can actually make money doing this. And you can make money doing it on a couple different levels. By knowing what's going into your products and knowing where it's coming from and having a more granular insight to that, you can now enable whole new business models like omni-channel and all sorts of other kind of e-com platforms using your brick and mortar store footprint, because you have such a greater identity or understanding of the inventory, where it is at all times, to be able to then act in a far more agile way, which will reduce shrink in your supply chain, reduce waste in your stores, enable consumers to actually have a better experience, which leads to sales uplift with inventory accuracy. And that's just on the supply chain side.